This is Liquor and Wolves. Liquor and Wolves. Secrets and dope and music and reactions. Liquor and Wolves. I said liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Secrets and dope and a German talking bullshit. Liquor and wolves. Fuck. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world. How are we doing tonight? This is Liquor and Wolves. I'm Rob, and you're amazing for being here. Thank you very, very much. So today we are going to be doing a suggestion from you guys. It is something that popped up in the comments to day before yesterday's video, which was the Beardy Man collab part 2, in which we get the cipher with Leen. Shit, fuck, man. That dude, Leen himself, who is fucking fire. Check out the reaction I did, or better yet, check out the original video. He hops in my comments yesterday and like congrats me and thanks me basically for doing this in-depth reaction, and how he's impressed by the thoroughness of how I sort of broke it down. And I'm of course totally excited. I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm hopping back in, and we go back and forth a little bit. And he's totally up for ideas of like what can we do to bring this thing forward, because that's something I rounded off a video of mine. I think the one before that, where I said it's really us as users who have the might and the power here in this what we call social media platform. And by being social and by, pulling the right levers and making use of the right mechanisms of this thing, we can all bring this thing that we hold to be real hip-hop forward. And he was totally down with that. And so crazy ideas are in the making. I suggested for him to let's do like a live stream. Him in the UK and in the US have Black Pegasus of the 40-year-old fuckboys, who is a freestyle fucking monster. And have them kind of trade bars back and forth through whichever platform, like Zoom or Twitch or it doesn't matter, Discord, any of them, FaceTime. And have me as the neutral German be like the host and nerd out over what they're doing. So like there's funny ideas that are being jotted back and forth right now. But like hats off again to Leen, who is, not feeling himself stardom enough to be like, no, I'm not going to go down to that level and talk to people on YouTube. No. Quite the opposite. He is very, very interactive and very open and very cool in general. So yeah, in the comments to that video in which the Leen discussion took place later, I get a suggestion to do Hopsin, Ill Mind number 7. I'll throw it in right here. And I am being honest with the dude that suggested this. And I say, I do know I've seen a couple of Ill Minds of Hopsin. I do remember one where he is like aggressively talking to 3 basically teenager stereotypes, like the lazy skater smoker dude who doesn't get his shit together, the overly sexy yet always sad when being fucked over a teenage girl who flashes her shit at the club and then wonders why it's only assholes that approach her. And the third one, I think, doesn't matter. So teenage stereotypes. I have seen that one. I have seen one where he's sort of like in a dried out desert, looks like Death Valley type. And he is basically having a monologue with God. And this, I think, came out of the fact that he used to be like super religious and did like religious hip hop too, I think, back when he was a skater. Fucking hats off to his skaterism too. I used to be a skater. Here's a couple of things that can I legit talk about skateboarding? I'll put it in the corner here. So can I? No, I was never a legit street skateboarder in sponsorship, but after the years of stair set jumping, I got into downhill longboarding. And in that, yes, I was, I can legitimately speak on that. I was actually in the world ranking. Best positioning I ever got was, I think, 53 in the IGSA World Cup ranking, which is global. So yeah, I can speak on skateboarding a little bit. I'm not sure if this is over yet. I'm just going to continue to talk. So I've seen teenager stereotypes. I've seen discussion with God. And I've seen one where he is in a courtroom and sort of basically speaking his case to a judge. I think, and that one is about his breakup with his old record label and record label boss. So those 3 I know. I just can't remember which number they were. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll into it, and if I realize at one point this is one I've seen, we're going to stop it and do another one out of the series. And I'm pretty sure they could get blocked, so this might just be for nothing, but let's see what happens. But of course, we do something else here before we go into that. We sip on something, and tonight is going to be very, very mundane and not very exciting at all. Because, believe it or not, all I have in my fridge is a goddamn beer. So that's what we're doing. I could go on for a million years on beer, because one of my biggest clients that I worked on was Bitburger beer. It's a big ass German brand. And I worked on them for like 6 years, I think. So I know everything there is to know on beer, but I'm not going to flash it. So what can I say about it? It's the cheapest beer you can buy in Germany. 5.0. It has nothing to do with police. It just has 5.0% alcohol. Cheers to you guys. But yeah, let's see what happens in the world of Hopsin. Oh, by the way, if you're seeing this screensaver here, it's not screen, it's a backdrop. You've seen the H-Mack thing that he gave me, and you get to stand in line after the show to kind of meet and greet real quick, and he writes you an autograph if you want one. And I told him we have this thing in our rehearsing room with our band, where when we meet bands or play for like open shows for other bands, we'll ask them to write us a motivational slogan for the rehearsing room. Did the same to Harry. You can see what he had to say. Get fucking to it, guys, which is the most correct and on the spot, on point motivation one should have in a rehearsing room. Same kind of for Mr. Tony Sly, rest in peace. He was the singer in No Use for a Name, one of the greatest bands of all time for me. Still my favorite band of all time. And he writes, "Practice, you sad fucks." And he, too, was correct with it. And let's see what this has to offer. And sadly, it is just as I was afraid, the one where he holds the monologue with God. This is the Death Valley situation I was talking about. So this is the one that he wanted me to react to. I can still do it and call it a review. Or I can just say, let's go. Okay, so I see now 5 is the one with the stereotypical teenagers. And I don't see any of the other ones. So I guess what I could do is I've seen it once, yeah. I've let it ring through. Never, of course, reacted to it. I can let it ring and share my thoughts on it if that's cool with y'all. Let's do that. Have to let it ring for a second just to check levels. Seem to be good. Dude is ripped, right? He's defined. Sorry. Real quick break. Forgot my damn cigarettes. 1, 2, 3. And we're back with some cigarettes. Now, maybe even use the chance that is being offered to me right now to talk about maybe my entry thoughts into this thing. I don't want to be like issues like this, videos like this, that have actual discussable and worth a dispute and discussion and, debate, really. They are always difficult for a reactor to not hurt that side's or that side's feelings. So I'm trying to phrase my words as neutrally as I can. I am what you might want to refer to as a non-believer / not even aggressively atheist and preaching out there that all of this is bull. it is just not, just like the Goku and the whole anime. It's not my world. I have no entry into it. It doesn't play a role in my life whatsoever. And it doesn't in my families, and it doesn't in my kids, and it doesn't in any of the lives of the people around me. So what I will say on the issue is, it just doesn't move me, touch me spiritually, intelligently, or, it is just something that plays no role in my life. So when you hear me make statements during this video that seem to be offensive towards religious and people of faith, it is not intentional by any means. I don't care what you believe. You can believe whatever you want, as long as you don't aggressively push it on me. I couldn't care less what you believe, as long as it's peaceful. So that being said, you know where I stand on this. But knowing what the content is going to be about, I appreciate the effort to, bring the issue to the table and make it a thing to talk about for people, because that's always the way to go. To just swallow your shit and then be astounded why folk don't understand one another. It's because you don't talk to each other. So maybe that's enough for entry thoughts on this. Let's hear what Hopsin has to say to God.
It's us, mind, power. Yeah, fuck anybody I might alarm. Life is a tour, I sit and ride along. Taking some notes and then I write the songs. I'm staring down the road, my life is gone. Is this where I belong? Is it wrong to not believe in right and wrong?
No.
My mental...
No, it's not. It's not wrong to not believe in right and wrong, which is sort of a catch-22. Like, you're asking somebody, is it wrong to not believe in right or wrong? What are you going to answer to that, right? So as someone who is contemplating that question, you really shouldn't be asking someone the question if what you're contemplating is right or wrong, because you're contemplating, is there a right or wrong? So it's like a dividing by zero, or like double negation. It doesn't work. Thoughts on the visual. This is cinematic. I love it. I know that all of his stuff, either he has also been to film school or something, but his visual is on point always. I don't like the grading of it. I would have made it visually more pain and suffering that screams at you. But he decides not to. He just kind of takes out most of the color grading and leaves it giving us an impression of it's really a lot of vast emptiness, probably reflecting what's inside of him.
State is fucking me up, and I cried upon while asking you for some answers, but we don't have that type of bond. Now my desire's gone, and with the way that I've been living lately, if I died right now, you turn the fire on.
If I died right now, you turn the fire on. If you are a man of faith, or a person of faith, sorry, that is probably 99% of the time a thought you could have, right? Because no matter how good you try to be, and how in accordance with all the playbook rules of whatever your religion may be, you are 99% of the time not good, even though you aspire to be. I would hate to have to always be in mental despair over whether or not I am being good. In my personal life, the only one who judges whether or not I am being good or being bad or am I doing the right thing is this guy right here and no one else. Of course, you can try and come up to me and judge me, but do I care? No, I don't give a shit. So I am glad I am not, squeezed into that core sets of rules I should be abiding by in order to be what they refer to or hold to be good.
Sick of this bullshit. Niggas call me a sellout, cause I hopped in Christianity so strongly then I fell out.
That's what he's referring to, that he used to be like this very, very Christian rapper. He was basically put in that drawer of Christian music, right? And then at one point, something must have happened that made him turn around and change his mind. And now rappers are calling him a sellout because you used to be that, and you used to be such a strong force and voice in that one thing. All of a sudden, you just leave it, like drop it like a hot potato and hop over into this, or this. And you wonder why we don't find you credible no more. But people, listen, minds change and opinions change. And isn't it the greatest thing, and shouldn't it be celebrated that opinions change, to the good or to the bad? The fact that we're not stuck in one scheme of thinking forever, for eternity. Just think, if my country, basically my people, the Germans, at one point everybody in this country, like subtract like 10-15%, were all thoughts and all positions of thinking were aimed in one direction, bestowed upon a person with a ugly stash. How do I say this? Just think, or just imagine, all these opinions never had changed. What world would we be in now? So I think having a man change his opinion is something that should not be disrespected or even hated. It should be something that, of course, somebody can change their mind to the worse, in my opinion, or your opinion. But the fact that we are able to is something that should not ever be hated or, discarded as sellout. Or, in German we have this expression "Fähnlein im Wind," which is you're just a flag in the wind. Today it goes this way, tomorrow it goes that way, and then after that way. But no, you should have a stance, but you should always be open and flexible enough to adjust that stance, in my opinion.
Now I'm avoiding questions like a scared dog with his tail down. Feeling so damn humiliated cause they looking at me like I'm hellbound. What story should I tell now? I'll just expose the truth. I'm so close to the fucking edge, I should be close to you. But who the fuck are you? You never show the proof. And I'm only fucking human, yo, what am I supposed to do?
That's a very infantile approach to contemplating whether or not religion is real and whether or not there is a God or not. If you exist, show yourself. It's like the motive of I don't know how many stories and movie scripts, and it's basically one of the oldest stories of mankind, right? When Bible dude's faith was tested, and should he, slaughter his firstborn or not, all that stuff. Show yourself if you're real. And if I was a god or a higher being, and one of those little fuckers down there goes, "Hey, show yourself or I ain't gonna believe in you," I'd be like, fuck you, I'm just not gonna show myself to you, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give your grandma cancer. And then we'll talk. I'm being dumb, sorry. No disrespect to what's nothing, please. But a very infantile, yet basically stripped to the core argument. If you're real, why don't you ever fucking show yourself? I'm on the edge and you should be standing beside me, but you're nowhere to be found. And then you expect me to believe and act on your rules, not even knowing if you exist? Existential questions here. But yeah, again, I'm glad I don't have to face them.
There's way too many different religions with vivid descriptions, begging all fucking men and women to listen. I can't even beat my dick without getting convicted. These ain't wicked decisions. I got different intentions.
I can't even whack my dick without being convicted. Even though this isn't wicked intentions, I'm not doing this to harm anyone. I'm doing this because I have a bodily function that's called libido, and I have bodily functions that, if I'm a man of faith, you put in me, but you then ask me to not live on them and, follow the physical processes that molecules, atoms, organs, and bodily functions just without my input do on their own. In brackets, because you put them there and made them do it, but I cannot, release? What kind of shit is that?
I've been itching to get it. I've been giving assistance, but the whole fucking system is twisted. Now I'm dealing with this backlash because Marcus isn't a Christian, and I've been told that my sinful life is an addiction. But
because Marcus isn't a Christian, so his real name's Marcus. Hopsin's real name. I think by now this is probably verse 1, and there is a sort of hook that goes kind of, this reminds me of is bigger than hip hop, hip. Never mind. I would say at this point, after verse 1, basically the story of the song is told. We see the, in the classic way of storytelling, classical drama, you get opening and establisher. Hopsin is battling with his belief. He is in an inner battle with himself. That's the establisher. We get it. Okay, situation is established. Then we get to hear about hero. He talks about himself, and we get to hear about anti-hero. Weird, calling God anti-hero. But this is the two people battling within the drama we're witnessing. And him now getting back down on his knees is really also a visual end to the drama that was unfolding before us. What else is there to say? It's not like God's going to pop into the video and be like, I'm sorry, all these years I never did shit. Here I am. Let's talk. Let's chill. To me, anyway.
I can't buy it. It's just too hard to stand beside it. I need an answer, humans can't provide it. I look at the earth, the sun, and I can tell a genius man designed it. It's truly mind-blowing, I can't deny it. Is heaven real? Is it fake? Is it really how I fantasize it? Where's the Holy Ghost at? How long does it take a man to find it? My mind's a
Good questions. Is it real? Do I fantasize it? Where's the Holy Ghost at? How long does it take a man to find it? All questions or extensions of the core basic questions, is there a God? I used to always believe there is one, but now I find myself questioning it. And then with that launch ramp question, is there a God? Is he real? You get all these extension questions. What about the Holy Ghost? Why can I not jack my meat? Why? They're all like, it's like a tree stump God. This is the tree stump of questions. And then all these branches grow out of it that affect you to the smallest detail of your life. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm going to let it just ring for a little bit and then share my thoughts on it.
Stop tape playing and I can't rewind it. You gave me the Bible and expect me not to analyze it? I'm frustrated and you provoked it. I'm not reading that motherfucking book because a human wrote it.
We're now getting visual and audio support of the drama graph. It started off pretty high, then sort of dropped low a little bit, with him also dropping low to his knees. Now he is getting back on his feet. He's rising. His voice is rising. The volume level is rising. The beat is giving a little pause for him to, inhale. And I like the fact that this is dramatically put into scene in the visual and the audio as well. So hats off to the filmmaking and the cinematic approach to it.
I have a fucking brain, you should know it. You gave it to me to think, to avoid every useless moment. It was a mission that I had to abort, cause humans be lying with such an inaccurate source. It's gonna be hard to put me back on the course. Next Jehovah's Witness to come on my porch, I swear I'm slamming the door.
Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, we had that discussion in the comments the other day too. Do you have a moment to talk about God? But no. I like that one line that says, you gave me the Bible and expect me not to analyze it? Because then it's just sheep. Then you're just blindly following the shepherd if you don't question anything. Or analyze, at least. So that I loved. I'm somewhat of an innocent bystander in this whole issue and deal that he's making an issue here. I'm enjoying seeing the end result of his creative product, the video, the beat, the rapping. Even though there's not killer bars in it, but the subject doesn't need killer bars. And I look at it as something that is really just. I'm not trying to put it down. I'm not trying to put it down. I'm saying it is good. It's a thought starter. And it's great to have thought starters out there that are commercially successful at that.
A lot of folks believe it though, but I'm not surprised. Humans are fucking dumb, still thinking that Pac's alive. I ain't trying to take your legacy and torture down.
He also said that a couple of bars earlier. Humans are such an inadequate source. And now he says, humans are just dumb, still think that Pac's alive. Like all these, you are basically loonies, and you're trying to talk to me about God and give me the answers I seek, when you still out there looking for Elvis and Pac.
I'm just saying, I ain't heard shit from the horse's mouth. Just sheep always telling stories of older guys who were notarized by you and you finally vocalized. Now I'm supposed to bow my head and close my eyes and somehow let the Holy Ghost arise. No. Sounds like a fucking poltergeist.
Somehow let the Holy Ghost arise. Sounds like a fucking poltergeist. That's a bar for sure. And yeah. Was I actively in the discussion and, trying to convert people into my stance of believing? Those are the arguments I would have. I don't, because I don't care what you think. Just do you. But if I was what were they called? The folk that, the Catholic Church would send to the rainforest to, convert the folk in the fucking rainforest. Indigene people. It doesn't matter what they were called. Missionaries. Missionary position, remember? Oh, fuck. Anyway, so don't beat your meats, but be a missionary. Don't be in missionary.
Show yourself, and the boom is done. Every rumor's gone. I no longer doubt the shit. You're the one. I'll admit that my sinful ways were stupid fun.
Sarcasm. This is also something that he is depicting something that is the truth. Usually when you are at one point fed up with not getting the answers you seek, you turn to sarcasm. Like, all right, fuck it. I'll just go with it. Fuck it. That's something I turn to sometimes too much when arguments or discussions that I'm in, I realize lead to nothing. I'd just be like, I'd forget it. You're right. Fuck it. And walk out. I know that's not the right thing to do, but that's basically what he is painting a picture of now. All right. Yeah. You the man. Got it.
All my old habits can hop on top of a roof to plunge. I donate to a charity that could use the funds. Fuck the club instead of bitches. I'd hang with a group of nuns, and everyone I ran into would know what I came to do. I wouldn't take a step unless it was in the name of you.
I like the picture of the nuns and the chicks in the club, and don't into the cause that could really use it. He is putting his internal back and forth out there for us to observe and make up our own minds on. And that's a creative achievement not everyone gets. If you're just out there spitting bars on how you have a fast car and like a nice chick, yeah, it's going to just ring through my ears and out of my system very quickly. I might bump to the beat, but this is a thought starter that you take to bed with you, right? Some of these questions are essential.
I hate the fact that I have to believe you haven't been chatting with me like you did Adam and Eve, and I ain't seen no fucking talking snake unravel from trees with a...
Again, he is saying, why don't you show yourself? Why can't I not have a conversation? Sort of the same motive that that Joyner Lucas had in Devil's Work, where he's in the church and basically partnering with God. How can you take Biggie and we still have Shook? Discussable for sure, but somehow, why can't we just have a conversation? Let's discuss this shit. You're taking the wrong ones. You should take. Of course, one should never point their finger and say this dude deserves to die. But in direct comparison with a very, 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 very good man that is taken or is lost, and you see the asshole still there being an asshole every fucking day, every minute of the goddamn day. It deserves the question of whether or not it wouldn't have been a good trade. You see what I'm saying? And that's not what he's directly referencing. He is saying, why did you showed yourself to Adam and Eve. You explained them what to do. You were in a burning bush. You have spoken from a horse's mouth. How come I don't get an interaction with you, at least for a second or two? And Joyner says that in his song too.
Apple to eat, that shit never happens to me. I don't know if you do or don't exist. It's driving me crazy. Send your condolences. This is me reaching to you, so don't forget. If hell is truly a pit of fire and I get thrown in it, I'ma probably regret the fact that I ever wrote this shit.
Truth, you probably will. I like the fact that he is also not ignoring the fact that if everything he used to believe is real and facts and truth, and there is an afterlife, and there is a heaven and a hell, and there is an eternal fire, the day that you are being presented with those facts, heaven's gates of hell, and you are on your way into fucking eternal torture and flames, you're gonna be like, shit, I wish I never wrote that song. It's facts.
Says it's all fake. I hate to say it, but fuck it. Shit, I done
What's all
lost
fake?
Shit. My gut feeling says it's all fake. I hate to say it, but fuck it. Shit, I done lost faith. This isn't a small phase. My perspectives all changed. My thoughts just keep picking shit apart all day.
Content, real quick. I like that. My gut feeling says it's all fake. But he's not taking a definite stance. He's not saying, I am 100% convinced it's all fake. And here's my arguments as to why. He's saying, my gut feeling says it's all fake. And then, again, creative product, the video that we're seeing, I talked about how, the suspense graph, if you will, if you mathematicianal function, it went up very, very high. We got to a peak when he was standing up and raising his voice and then now he's bringing it back down and saying beat 2 and saying, and really in a conversational voice is saying, my gut feeling says it's all fake. And he's really just not even rapping anymore, just jotting words back and forth with himself.
And in my mind, I make perfect sense. If you aren't real, then all my prayers aren't worth a cent. That will mean that I can just make up what my purpose is. And I can sit in church and just say fuck in the services.
Logical thinking. If assumption A results in fact A, this is what I have concluded out of assumption A. That means X, Y, Z is so and so and so. And he's now counting that down. If that's true, what I'm thinking, if my gut feeling is not wrong, then all my prayers have been for nothing. Then all of this is really just a big facade.
Man, what if Jesus was a facade? Then that would mean the government's God. I feel like they've been brainwashing us.
Huh? What if Jesus was a facade? That would mean the government's God? That's sort of a big leap, I think. Now that I'm really giving it thought, I told you at the start of the video, I've seen it a year and a half or something ago. Also was impressed by what he did creatively, not by it. I'm saying the subject, it just leaves me cold. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not passionate about it. Yeah. But that was a giant leap, I think. That would mean the government's God. If Jesus was a facade, that would mean government's God. I disagree. Because in the history of everything, church and state have always been, they were allies when useful to both parties, but never, here's government and here's church, and if we take away church, government is automatically boss. Yes, in ruling things and deciding things, your acre ends here and yours there. And no, you don't. You're not allowed to inherit, but you, because you have you are baptized and you're not shit like that. Yeah, but the government doesn't automatically turn to God that people believe in, right? Discussable.
A lot, so much that we don't even notice that we're stuck in the box. Man, everything is what if. Why is it always what if? Planet Earth, what if? The universe, what if? My sacrifice, what if? My after.
I remember this, and I also remember raising my eyebrows when I heard that for the first time. That's facts. Everything in this world is what if, because none of us have the ultimate answers. It's a realization that hurts a little bit, that yes, we have come so far scientifically and we can make sense of so much in this world that we're in, especially in the last, let's say 100 years. The leaps of progress that we've made in understanding our environment have been giant. But those deep questions, why? Where do we go? Where do we come from? Some of that has been solved, yes. We will never have 100% undisputed answers to. And there will always be what ifs. But is that bad? I mean, do we have to? Isn't it kind of boring to be sort of like the chef referee of the match that is Earth and people living their lives, and you sitting up above them and knowing everything? Is that the position you'd want to be in? Knowing everything and never wondering and never being curious about stuff anymore? I wouldn't.
Like whatever, every fucking thing that deals with you is fucking suspect. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done.
Climax.
This is my fucking life and I'm living it. I'm having fun.
You should.
If you really care for me, prove that I need to live carefully.
That, sort of blackmailing him. If you want so and so, do such and such, is also the wrong approach, I would say. If you've made the decision for yourself, you're going to live your life and you're having fun, do it. Why the sidekick? Just do it. And if you've been wrong on your new stance, meaning there is one, you will get the punishment that you deserve on the day that you meet your maker, if there is one, right? So either you've made up your mind, nope, it's all fake. I'm living my life now. Fuck everything. Fuck the rules, like me. If I'm wrong and everything everybody else is saying is correct, I'm going to pay for it. It's like this. It's like in the hood. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. I have decided, for me, this is how I live my life. And if there's consequences to it, I will face them, yes. But I'm not going to permanently question myself, like attempting to live my life, but always in the back of my head, like, ooh, I could pay for this one day. No, it's just not, it's not something I contemplate at all.
But I'll be damned if I put my own pleasure aside for an afterlife that isn't even guaranteed. We are you, and you're us. Stop playing games.
I like that line. Stop playing games. This is either, if you want this to be a working community, if you will, you and us, then stop fucking playing games. Don't let us hang on suspicion and assumption. Then play it straight. Then we'll go by your rules. We'll do whatever you say we should. We'll accept that you're there and that at the end of the day you're going to judge. But don't be playing those games and giving us messages in forms of books that you've never written yourself, that give us rules and sets of rules that we should live our lives by, not even knowing if it's something that a real entity actually wanted us to do. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not willing to do that. No.
My life's all I got, and heaven is all in my brain. And when I feel I'm in hell, my ideas are what get me through pain. Do as you please, and I'll just do me. I'm a human, I'll stay in my lane. Ill mind. It's us, mind, power.
And then walk away from the mic.
Live life, mind, power.
I think, especially with this visual ending of it, so hats off to three individual things. The fact that he shares with us what's going on inside him. The suffering of the artist is always a great motive. There's a book by a good friend of mine called Goebel. He's American, and he's written a book called Vincent. And I totally not suggest, but I will ask all of you that are interested in what's, if I find something good and you have the slightest thought of, hey, I might be enjoying that too, go and buy that book. I totally recommend for everybody who's interested enough to get and read that book. Vincent by Goebel. The motive of that book is an artist will only be at the height of his creative potential when he is suffering. And lots of times that's true. So that's all I'm going to give away before spoiling it. But it has to do with, we need someone, kind of like a cooler in a casino, to make our artist's life hell artificially. And, constructedly. So he is always going to be in the greatest of pains, so his output will be at the very highest level. So same motive here. I am suffering. I am in inner despair. And horn A for putting it out and sharing it with us. Horn B for the execution of said motive. Very, very fire video. And horn 3 for the fact that it is a thought starter for everyone that consumes the end product. It is for me anyway. It's not going to ring with me for hours and hours or even days. I can consume it and feel myself being, patted on the back, be like, you're doing it right. The end result could be completely different for other users. So I very much appreciate the suggestion. I'm sorry that I've actually seen it, so we're going to call this a review. But it was fun doing it again. And go ahead and continue to do so, please. Leave a like, leave a sub, please interact, and we'll see each other next time. Bye-bye.